how to be successful. In this second to last video, we're going to talk about taking action. Remember, the most important thing is taking action. It's not gathering intelligence and gathering knowledge for the sake of that so you can speak on the topic and look important in front of your friends. The most important thing is putting your head down and taking action. It doesn't matter who is giving you validation or telling you good job or who knows what you're doing at 10 or 11 p.m. You know what you're doing at 10, 11, 1 o'clock in the morning. And if you're working on a business, building a product, creating a brand, then you know that you're setting yourself up very well for the future. You're gonna work hard, you're gonna work extremely hard today so that you don't have to work hard in the future. The flip side of that is if you don't work hard today and you don't invest in your future, then when you're 40 or 50 or 60 years old, you're not going to have the requisite skills or the bankroll and the money in the bank account to guarantee yourself a comfortable life. So you always have to be on the lookout to acquire skills and make sure that you are building for the future. And the best way to build for the future is to work incredibly hard today, use the time that we have allocated to create something, build a brand, build a business, build a product. Do not just go in and trade your time for money. That's what a lot of people do. Instead, work extremely hard today so that you don't have to work hard in the future so that you can simply maintain the business. The other really important component is that when you're starting up a new business, a lot of people, they want instant gratification. They post a picture on Facebook and then they look at how many likes and the engagement on it. They post a picture on Instagram and they'll actually delete it if it doesn't get a minimum amount of likes. The reality for successful entrepreneurs is that you do not seek validation. You don't look for positive feedback externally. Yes, the positive feedback is nice to receive, but it doesn't mandate that, or it doesn't determine that if you don't receive that positive feedback that you're going to stop. And this probably happens 9 out of 10 times where people will get upset or disappointed or become disingenuous or rather become unmotivated by having to do the boring, monotonous things. They don't receive the positive feedback and they just simply quit. And they feel that they're better off engaging in short-term behavior that's going to give them a smaller return on their investment instead of focusing on the longer term and working really hard today. So remember that when you build something that's sustainable, you are not going to you're not going to think about the short-term validation, the short-term return on investment. It doesn't matter if people are patting you on the back or telling you that you're an amazing person. A few examples of this is someone like Gary Vee. At 28 years old, he was still working at his father's liquor store in New Jersey. He built that business from $3 million to around $60 million. At 28 years old, he was making $40,000 a year. And now he's probably making around $20 or $25 million a year. Jeff Bezos, when he left his highly paying, lucrative corporate job in corporate finance, he started up Amazon, and he started it from one room. He just busted his butt, he laid the groundwork, he laid the foundation. Everyone thought that he was crazy for leaving his job, and then he built up an $800 billion company. Now, there are a lot of people who jump into the entrepreneurial space and they fail. Yes, that's completely cool, but the reality is that it's not a problem to fail. At least you try. If you jump into the ring or you throw your hat in a ring or start up a new business and you fail, there is no scarlet letter in our society that's going to brand you for failing on a business. Most businesses fail, but at least you took action and actually put your idea into action and had the possibility of succeeding. Instead, what a lot of people do is they just have an idea, but they never take action on it. They are scared to act because they're concerned about the consequences of failing. But remember that regret is one of the worst emotions to have. And if you are able to minimize the regret that you have by taking action, that is going to supersede and be way more important than your body's desire to to pacify your ego. So you want to do things that are going to minimize the regret that you have later in life. And the best way to minimize regret is to take action. So, to summarize this video, just make sure that you always take action. Do not look for validation. I know that social media conditions us to look for instantaneous and instant gratification by seeing how many likes we have, how many people engage with us. But the reality is that if you want to build a strong business, you're going to have to build that foundational component and not engage in seeking instant gratification and looking for external positive feedback. You're also going to have to seize opportunities. So if you know that something's going to be successful, you're going to have to put your head down and work really hard for 3 to 5 years in order to set yourself up and set up your future. And remember that in order to mitigate regret, and the feelings of regret is way stronger than your ego's desire and your desire to minimize fear and to engage in comfortable activities. A lot of people, they just build up a routine. So they wake up every single day, probably 80% of their day is the same as it was yesterday. And if you don't push yourself outside that comfort zone, then you're never going to grow. You want to make sure that you minimize regret. And if you're the type of person who is entrepreneurial, and not everyone is, a lot of people, they go in, they don't have a problem, they work at a great job, and they feel satisfied, they feel fulfilled by working at that job. But probably 20 or 30% of the people, they hate their job, they don't want to go into work, they want to find an alternate means to support themselves and to make money. And these videos are for those 20 or 30% of the people who have the entrepreneurial tendencies. And I'm speaking directly to those people when I'm telling them that do not seek external validation, and to make sure that you take action, put your head down and work for 2 to 3 years, because in the end, in the long term, your future self is going to thank you for putting in the hard work, laying that foundational component, so that your future self can simply live off the dividends and manage that business that you built up when you decided to put in the hard work today. So minimize that regret, take action, do not get caught up in making sure that you always feel comfortable. Growth lies at the edge of our comfort zone. So take action. If you have any questions, I'm here to help you. This is David Jaffe with davidjaffe.com. If you want to learn how to trade stock options and earn around 50% every single year, you can go to beststockstrategy.com. You can also enter your email and receive $400 worth of free training materials. I am always here to help you. My goal is to be one of the most helpful people on the internet and to cut through all of the BS and the fake gurus. So once again, this is davidjaffe.com, and I'm going to create a video in the future to summarize this entire course, and then that will complete this How to Be Successful course. Thanks.